Welcome to our show, Tough Talks Unlimited, co-hosted by Derek Bowles and myself, Michael Garth. In this show, we're going to hear from world-class leaders and innovators, people who are willing to have positive conversations and share their insights on tough talks to get you through tough times. Let's get started.
Man, I'm excited about this show that we're getting ready to have, Coach. How are you doing?
Absolutely. It's been a great day, Derek. Tell me a little about our new guests.
Well, I'm excited because we have a long history, Mark and I. We go back to college days back in the early 90s, and he was the point guard at the University of Idaho. Unbelievable person, unbelievable player, and unbelievable man.
Wow, that's a lot there. That's a lot there. I tried to play the point position a little bit myself, so it brings about a lot of memories.
Absolutely. Well, and we're excited to be here, to be totally honest. Unstoppable, Tough Talks Unlimited. Coach Garland, Derek Bowles, our guest is Mark Leslie, and we're excited to have him on the show. And so we're going to bring him in. We see him right now, and we're excited to have him be a part of it. Mark, how you doing, sir?
Good morning. How you guys doing?
We're doing great, Mark.
So, Mark, let's right off the top, because it's been so long since I've seen you, man. Let's just go back in time just for a second, because I just want to take a moment to just talk about your leadership when you were the point guard at University of Idaho. I mean, you did some phenomenal things, man. Unbelievable things.
Well, it wasn't enough to win the championship like you guys did. It wasn't enough, but it was actually my first time playing the point guard. I played two guard my whole life, and after nine or 10 games, coach said the team's flow was a little better when I was at the point guard. Because so I moved over full time and learned on the job.
Man, that says a lot about who you are, man, and your personality, man. So, couple of things, man. Obviously, you're in a transition, right? You were the head coach at Trinity Valley Community College, had an unbelievable run, and now you're in a different phase. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. Well, the transition from, junior college coach this year, we did have a great year. We won the region championship, got back to Hutch for national tournament for maybe the 7th time in 10 years.
Wow.
So it wasn't a lot more to be done other than win a national championship. We didn't get that done. So I just, wanted to do some other things and had an incredible opportunity to come out to Seattle and coach for the Seattle Superhawks of the TVL Professional Minor League. And 2/3 of the season's over. So I'm coming in, hitting the ground running. First day of practice, Wednesday was really good. We played tonight here at home. And so we just, like I say, just hit the ground rolling.
Well, Mark, I know this. I've been coaching for 40 years and just retired in August. And I know full well the importance of the point guard position. And I tell people all the time, two of the most difficult positions to play in all of sports. Number one is quarterback in the NFL, and number two is point guard at any level in basketball.
I agree.
Give us a little bit of your thoughts about that position and how what you've learned playing the point guard position has helped you throughout your life.
Well, absolutely. I think throughout my life, I always had a leadership quality. So long before I ever played point guard, I was the guy in the neighborhood getting the kids together, teaching basketball. And I was the guy, guys came to talk to and just, somebody that'll listen. And so then moving into actual point guard, it was tough at first because I had scored my whole life. So my focus every night was kind of go out and make sure you do what you got to do.
Right.
And then moving to the point guard, you have to make sure everybody did what they had to do.
Right.
So then those different conversations, and how to lead men, and then you got to really know how to follow as well and be
Right.
an extension of the head coach.
Absolutely.
So that's what I transferred into my coaching. All of our more successful years, that point guard was an extension of me.
Yes.
And an extension of our staff, and that makes the game. I know you coached at a super high level. That's critical. I mean, we can go back to Mateen Cleaves. I mean,
No
he
question.
may not have been the best player in the country, but he may have been the best leader.
No
Wow.
question.
Wow.
No question.
And so, big things can happen when you got great leadership and they're doing
Absolutely.
it for the right reasons.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's interesting. And, I talk all the time, and we've had other guests on here that had some basketball background. And, one of the things that's perturbing to me is that so many of our young men, once they're done playing basketball, do not know how to use those same skills that they learned from the game and to help improve their life and make them better. That same guy that could stand up there under pressure with 15,000 people in the crowd with 1 second left on the clock, and they're down one. And if he makes both, they win the game. And that kid could do it, but yet and still now, as he has hung up the shoes, he really doesn't equate that to what he was doing back in the days when he was playing basketball.
That's so true. I mean, that's a sad part of the business for me because, I see some of the guys later in life, writing books, doing really great things. And I see other guys who were maybe better players.
Absolutely.
But, not handling that adjustment to real life. And, where this, the situations, like you say, some people take them from sport to life.
Exactly.
And some people, and some guys are handicapped by it, I believe.
Yeah.
So I think it can go both ways.
And it's so much easier to do it in life than it is out there on the basketball court for one main reason, and that's because when you're playing, there's defense. And when you're doing things in life, there's really no defense. The defense is actually working your way through the difficulties to succeed. And there's nobody when you're trying to write up a business proposal, standing there hitting your hand, or hitting you beside the head, or distracting you, or upping you. There's none of that, and so it makes it a lot more. It makes it a lot more convenient for you to be able to get the job done, and you should be accustomed to that, because all of the hurdles that you have to cross in order to be successful in life, whether it's in business or your family, or if you're a part of an organization, is that, it's the same as the defender being in front of you during the game. And boy, I love the fact that you've been able to take those analogies and become a successful young man.
Oh, I appreciate it. I mean, congratulations to you on your retirement from such a successful career, and that's an honor. I mean, it's a blessing for anybody to be in that position, much less a black man.
Right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well, and Mark, I want to add to that just really quick, because one of the things that coaches transferring into is executive coaching, and you were talking about that leadership skill, right? And that you really have developed the ability to lead. And so one of the things that I think is important is, especially like you said before, as a black man, talk about that transition when you're a leader and making a transition into a different market, into a different space.
I mean, it's always difficult. You have to, address what's in front of you. So every situation is different. And, so different people require different strategy.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Right.
So I'm right now coming into a situation where the people in ownership and leadership above me are right in sync with me.
Okay.
So it's been a seamless transition thus far, and although it's early for me, I do have a extended relationship with them over years. And then you take a situation like in coaching in college. I've been in some situations where, I felt that leadership behind me, not quite behind me. And then, I felt it where I felt the leadership was completely behind me.
Absolutely.
And learning how to navigate both of those situations, it was a new situation for me because, as a player, most of the time, and when you good, and I think I was pretty good, the people, usually they cater to you. They kind of do what, they make sure you come along.
Right.
And so, but in this coaching world, in this real world,
Right.
people don't do that. They're not gonna just pull you along because somebody else can do what you're doing, first of all. And we get that mixed up sometimes as young players. Like, we think we that special.
Right.
And so I've run into a coach or two that have helped me learn that I was really blessed. It wasn't me being special. And so I don't look at myself in anything success. I look to God and give him the glory.
There you
Absolutely.
go. There you go.
And so as long as I know it's not me, but it's him using me,
Right.
I can try to be prepared for the next situation.
Man, I just want to add to what you just said because I think that's super important. He's talking about having a strategy. And I think that's something that we need to make sure that people who are listening can get a feel for and understand. Like, you can't just be emotional. As you know, Mark, I'm very emotional, right? I'm one of those guys. So what I'm hearing you tell me, even as friends, like, I need to figure out, okay, how do I have a strategy moving forward?
Absolutely. I mean, the people that are the most prepared, we know, have the greatest chance of success. And we used to model a lot of things we did after Coach Izzo and the Michigan State staff because we believe that the attention to detail was greater than anywhere else we were seeing, especially defending and rebounding.
Right.
And that's so, you can learn from other people. So you don't have to create a strategy. You can just, learn from other situations. And we learned that's what I still do to this day. I try to learn as much as I can.
You bring up a great point in that something we really believed in while I was coaching at Michigan State. And one is that every player should have an unstoppable shot. And I think that carries over into life. What can you do that a lot of other people can't do? What are you bringing to the table that's unique and something that the world really needs? It sets you aside is a better word, where you can be successful. And I think sometimes as people, we get that confused when God, gives everybody a gift. They don't quite understand that you have to take that gift and develop it and move it forward, and then you will become unstoppable in whatever your endeavors are. Yes. But we also were big on having weapon in our game. I guess that would be a better word for it. I was actually searching for another word, but a weapon in our game that you couldn't practice against. It was unstoppable. And that's where we chose rebounding, and particularly on the offensive end, because with the relentlessness that we were coming at you, there's no way you could practice against that. There's just no way. and that helped that helped us quite a bit to win during a time when we couldn't shoot it in the ocean, Mark, but we were winning everything. And we often said our best play was the missed shot, because that's when we really started playing. So I agree with your point.
Oh, absolutely.
So, Mark, let's talk a little bit about, obviously, as you made this transition, what are some of the things that you want to bring to the program where you're at currently? Like, what's your vision from a coaching perspective, so that people can get a better feel for how you lead, how you teach, how you empower players? Like, all that stuff's super important, because at the end of the day, as you and I already know, coaches don't win games, players do.
Right. Well, my coaching philosophy that's been developed over 24 years, tweaked and developed. The cornerstone to it is, I try to treat people like I would want to be treated. I mean, and really in everything I try to do that, and that's the foundation of how I approach it all. I mean, no matter, I didn't have zero turnovers every game. I didn't block my man out every game. I didn't get back every possession. So, we try to develop discipline to do it every time. You want to be perfect, and that's the discipline. But the one time you don't, I'm not one of those coaches that can't relate to that. Some coaches, act as if, maybe when they played, they never made a mistake.
Right.
And so I don't do that. I try to relate how I would want to be related to. And then this particular situation I'm in now is tough, because these guys are winning. They were winning before I got here. I mean, I think they're on an 11-game winning streak.
Oh, wow.
And first place in the West. So, it's a situation that's unlike anyone I ever been in.
Right.
These are professional guys. Some, we got guys that back from overseas, the G League. We had a couple guys that were on rosters, off rosters, then back to the G League. Now they're here. And, this is not the most glamorous league. It's a on the kind of come up league, and players look at it. Some players might just say, no, I'm not going to do that. Well, these guys came out and done a great job for 3 months, and now they got their third coach. So I'm trying to build trust on as quick as possible.
Right.
And the best way to build trust, I think, is just to show people who you are. So
absolutely.
And so I'm trying to show them who I am, and then hope the rest takes on a life of its own, and we can even become better than they already are.
That's powerful. That's powerful, man.
In that, Mark, a lot of people don't understand that when you're in position where you're trying to sustain success, that's the most difficult position to be in. When you're building something from the ground up, there's no expectations. But when you're trying to maintain success,
yes,
boy, that's tough to do. And I don't think a lot of times in the world people really realize that. They think it's the other way around.
I agree. We got some. I got two deep thinkers across right
now. Yeah.
No, this has been good, man. And so, obviously you talked a little bit about building that trust, and there's a concept that Coach and I have been talking about. It's called the speed of trust, and that's super important. And so give us an example how you're going to try to have the speed of trust with the players who are already having success, right? It's happening right now. How are you going to build that trust immediately so that they know that they can roll with you?
Well, I mean, I think I started building it already. So, and just talking to the players. So if we in practice, and this was a real situation in our first practice, it was a situation where it was an offensive rebound. He just tiptoed in there, got it, and put it back in, and nobody touched him.
Right.
and nobody said nothing. So, instead of me just starting out that, it's just, we got to get that rebound or just, I just stopped it and said, look, guys, some things is happening out here that just can't happen. I mean, do anybody see anything? And somebody stepped up and said, yeah, that's my fault. I didn't block them out.
Right.
And then the next time in transition, it was they were tired at this point. He didn't quite get back hard enough for me. So, it's day one. I'm still trying to, build trust, get them to know who I am. I stopped it again, and then here he came forward.
I didn't have to say anything. He just came
Right.
forward. That's my
Right.
fault, coach. I gotta get back. I gotta
Right.
get back.
Right.
So in a sense, I'm trying to help them help me lead themselves instead of being, the dictator that just comes in and this is what you got to do. This, they see it too. So I'm trying to get them to see it and speak it, and that's just only play at this point in my season with all other teams. That's where we are at this point. We at the point to where they see it, they identify it, they correct it. I don't even have to do it. Well,
Wow.
so I didn't have the first 2/3 of the season with these guys. So, but they're older, been around. I was impressed with their ability to be able to identify it and announce without any like I don't know. They weren't worried about what nobody thought. I mean, they just said the right thing, and
Right.
instead of hide from it.
Right.
Man.
Right.
So.
Right.
I hope that speaks to a little bit of what you asked.
Absolutely, it does. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was a great answer to how to deal with situations where you have to coach or you have to supervise or you're in leadership, and you gain their trust because of how you actually reacted to those situations. And that brought on an immediate trust, and it was great that you were able to see it as the practice session progressed, and you'll see a lot more of that,
Right.
because there's several different kinds of coaching styles, and in today's basketball, and particularly, the coach that coaches with a hammer, it's just not going to work.
No.
It's just not going to work. Pick up your whistle when you need to stop them, and correct them in a language that they understand, not your own language, and you're going to always find out that you'll be fine.
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. That's I always try to say, just the best coaches are coaching as themselves.
Yes.
So they don't come in and put a mask on or a facade or
Right.
if you coach as yourself, and for me, you can't go wrong.
Right.
It's when you trying to do something that's not you.
Absolutely.
Because the players will sense, they can tell when it's fake. They know when it's
question. No question they will. No question they will. I've always believed in my 40 years of coaching that leadership has to be driven by relationships. And, guys that try to do it differently, they're not very successful. They may be successful for a day, but there's not going to be any continuation of success because, you have to have relationships with your guys. And you'll find that. I don't care if it's basketball. I don't care if it's an organization, a company, your family. There has to be relationship. When you really look at it, just about everything in life is relationship driven.
Yes.
And that's where you find success.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I've been in the South for 12 years. They say, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I know exactly what you're saying.
So Mark, we're going to shift the conversation a little bit, obviously. I mean, as you know, we keep talking about having an unstoppable mindset, having an unstoppable approach, having tough talks, stuff that we need to talk about. And so one of the things I want to ask you, and just give me your thoughts, like some of the things that you're seeing in our society right now with some of the challenges that we're facing. I mean, we just had a shooting in Atlanta yesterday. Like there's so many things going on. And I'm always interested to hear other people's perspective because I think our listeners want to hear that as well. So kind of share with me something that you think we need to be thinking about as we move through some of these challenging times that we're facing.
Definitely, it's hard to turn on the news. I mean, it's just
Yes,
one.
it is.
It seems like it's just one thing after another, and I think the center point for me would be, God. I just feel like
right.
if God is in your life, you would have a lot less of that. So I don't know how to make that so it's so, because I was raised to believe in God, but I wasn't at church every day. We didn't go to church much. My parents grew up in the church, but we didn't.
Right.
My siblings. So then, we have a family church now, and then my father's been a pastor for, I don't know, probably 30 some years now.
Wow.
but even though we weren't in the church all the time, he still read the Bible to us. He still spoke the word.
Right.
So I still had it in me to where I felt it, and I felt like that's what I need.
Absolutely.
And so I'm not sure everybody is coming up in a situation where they can really even identify with that. And if you can't identify with the maker, you probably don't have any respect or anything for life itself. So, just to kill another person over something or over pretty much anything,
Yeah.
I mean, you defend your life. I understand defending your life and your family life,
Right.
but some of the things that we see and hear, and there's a mental component that's off. And I think that the only thing I can think of is God. I can't think of anything, no other solution.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And I think, as you referred to, I think the mental issues are because we have a significant separation from God within our society. And when I say our society, meaning across the world, there's tremendous separation. And folks like you and myself and Derek and many others, we always speak to, that there's no other place to go but back to God. And I think that's essentially what, people who have Christ in their life, I think that's what they're really speaking to. Because man, you don't boy, it's hard to live without Christ in your life to sustain you through the hard times and trials and tribulations. It's just hard.
We're not designed to do that. So
no, we're not. No, we're not.
Man, that's powerful, Mark, and I appreciate you sharing that. And so let's take that a step further. So obviously you shared some of the issues. So what will be one of your action items, right? What would be something that you could share that we can leverage and share with the audience? Is there something that you think, like, obviously having a relationship with God is invaluable, but how do we move towards that space, or how do we, tell me your thoughts.
I mean, I think it's starting the community. So, one community at a time. So I think if not just like a single leader, but a community movement that people can get behind, and just probably one community at a time. I can't see it or like a blanket solution that's going to cover everybody.
Right.
But if we try to strengthen our community, then one community at a time, I think you could see some change. You could see a difference. But And then there are obviously leaders and communities that are trying to do these things as we speak. But
Right.
that community involvement, I just think it's got to go not just from the leader, but all the way to every follower. Needs to be a leader when they move around too. So not one voice, everybody's voice.
Right. You know, Mark, I'm gonna piggyback kind of on what you just said, and it brings to mind a quote by Mahatma Gandhi, and in which he said, "You want to be the change that you want to see," and
yes,
I think people try to make that more complicated than it is, and a lot of what he meant by that, and you said by community and individuals, just going up to someone and just smiling at them, or have a kind word for them, or just doing very, very minimal things, that acts of kindness that can lift a person's spirit. And you don't know, you may say something just as simple as, hey, is there anything I can help you? Or, do you, it appears to me that you need someone to talk to. I got an ear, and that those type of things, if we can get back to that as individuals, I think we can grow that community that cares for one another.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
My phone is starting to blow up on me over here.
Okay.
But I'm okay. Okay, I got some more time. But when ownership and general managers are calling,
yeah, we understand.
Well, we don't want to hold you. We obviously we appreciate your time. We appreciate you being a guest on the show, and we just appreciate you, man. And more than anything, I love some of the thoughts that you've already shared, and we're gonna get this out so people can really hear your ideas and perspectives, and more importantly, your leadership, because you just carry that with you. You know that, right? That's part of who you are.
Absolutely, yeah, I believe so. And thank you guys for having me.
Yep.
And what you guys are doing is great. So spreading the word of truth. So
right. Thank you.
That's powerful.
It was good to meet you, Mark, and we appreciate you being on our show.
Same here. I appreciate being here. It's nice, great meeting you. Good seeing you, Derek, with that smile.
All right.
Always good.
Take care.
All right. Have a great day.
Yep.